boldly can say that when President Zuma was head of state and president, he did everything in his power towards the attainment of Freedom Charter objectives. The Freedom Charter says the doors of learning and culture shall be opened for all. The highest number of no-fee schools in South Africa happened under President Zuma. President Zuma is the one who introduced free education at higher education level, even when his cabinet were refusing. Even when the Ministry of Finance was refusing. He said, why should people pay to gain access to education at universities, universities of technology and TVET colleges? You know, comrades, we always give recount that there were so many sponsored disruptions and interruptions of the politics of President Zuma. The youth can go and check even on YouTube and on historical records. In 2017, when he was addressing the National House of Traditional Leaders, he said that I don't understand why black political parties should not be uniting to have 2/3 majority in order to expropriate, to change the constitution for expropriation of land without compensation. And he said that as a head of state and president. But side shows were what was being pursued. When a head of state says that let black political parties unite to be 2/3 to expropriate land without compensation so that we can give land to our people. Some of us, like mistakenly, were part of wrong things there. Like we say, no, we're fighting sideshows where a head of state is talking about the strategic resource of land and mineral resources to say, let's give this to our people. But the focus of where he was leading was that, no, he must pay back 15 million rand or 8 million rand for a house built for him in Kwatagwatu News. And then we think that becomes normal politics as black people. And then we feel powerful about that when white people cheer you that, yeah, go on, fight on. They even join you on the streets. Zuma must fall. Zuma, and then we join, we think that is very powerful. When a president says that, comrades, let's unite all of us. Let's take land. Let's give free education up until higher education level. Let's give implements and tractors to farmers so that they can farm as is called for in the Freedom Charter. No, ourselves, no, we don't want that. We want you to pay 15 million rands because government built you a house. That becomes the obsession. As if that is not enough, the establishment pushes him out of office and then later on takes him to prison without trial. It doesn't need any serious sophistication, just basic logic. You can realize that some of the things were done wrongly. Some of us are fortunate, Comrade Dan, that we in our lifetime are able to correct historical mistakes politically. And we boldly will do that until the end of time. Until we have achieved total emancipation and freedom for our people. You know, no one in their right mind can dispute the fact that of all these people who have led South Africa as head of state and president, President Zuma is the only one who sought to achieve the aims and objectives of the Freedom Charter. The rest were instruments, were just an executive that was managing the common affairs of the capitalist of the bourgeoisie. They would speak all sorts of sophisticated language and poems and all sorts of things. But in the ultimate end, when you assess closely, what is the real agenda? They were about protecting the white capitalist establishment and system. That is why President Zuma saw it far much earlier that now the ANC has been taken over completely. It's not even fighting for the Freedom Charter. It's just going to undermine everything. That is why in October, actually in the beginning of 2023, he said, we need to form a fighting instrument, a vehicle that is going to fight for true freedom. That is going to continue with the struggle for total emancipation. And then he said, let us go and revive Umkhonto weSizwe as a fighting instrument, as a fighting vehicle. And two issues must identify with Umkhonto weSizwe. One is unity. Two is total emancipation. On unity, President Zuma, far much earlier, even before Umkhonto weSizwe was publicly announced, says that why do we have so many black political parties when we are fighting for the same agenda? I can tell you now, here in Mdantane, in Duncan Village, in King Williamstown, in all the regions here, I see there's a comrade here from the PAC as well. If you were to take black people from whichever political party, and then you say 10, 10, 10 commissions of 10, 10, whichever, whether they are from the PAC, Black Consciousness Movement, ATM, ANC, black people, you put them in different rooms and say, please come out with the most important 10 things for black people. They're going to come out with the same things. Exactly the same things. Because we exist under same material conditions. There is no real difference between those who say they are part of the Congress movement or they are Pan-Africanist, they are black consciousness, they are economic freedom in our lifetime. There is no real difference. What is difficult about uniting behind a common agenda? Because all these things, all of us, we want our land back. We want to grow the economy so that we can have sustainable quality jobs for our people. We want to take our children to better schools and universities. We want quality health care. We want to live in safe environment. You know, Thomas Sankara says that people are not fighting, we can't be fighting over ideas. We're fighting for the real material benefit of just what do we gain out of these struggles. Why then do we have multiple and viable fiefdoms called political parties? Why are we not uniting just behind one agenda? And fight for total emancipation and freedom. That is what Umkhonto weSizwe is. Unity of the oppressed masses of our people. That is why in the core values of Umkhonto weSizwe is that no matter how provoked you have been, you can't speak bad about other black person or any other political party. You are not allowed to even insult anyone. Because we are an organization that is pursuing unity.